one person who registered approximately 20 years ago. His name being Gerald Hall. His signature had changed significantly since he filled out his voter registration card. And upon visiting him, he verified that his signature had changed over that large time span, and made a phone call either to Mr. Taylor or someone from the county clerk's office to state that fact. So we had the intention of going out and actually visiting other people who were not found in the petitioner's favor due to signature checks. But due to the weather, we didn't get much traction on that issue. Neither did what. And it was decided, it's just, not safe to be going around trying to track down the number of people that we needed to track down on a day like today. And so we didn't even make a concerted effort to do it. We started on it yesterday, but we intend to continue on today. So, but that was the main point of filing the objections yesterday, was to basically give us some time to actually do that, and it wasn't done.
It would be fair to say, listening to you, Mr. Taylor, I just want to make sure, for purposes of the record, Mr. Greer, for purposes of the record, that you're not prepared today to introduce any written evidence or other evidence to support your challenges.
That's correct. I'm just merely stating our purpose of submitting the objections yesterday was to give us time to actually go to addresses, ask people, is this your signature? And, if they identified that their signature was on that particular line on the petition at that address, because a lot of the names, you couldn't read their signatures to know who they really were. So we had intended to actually go visit the addresses, but weather permitting and weather isn't permitting. So because of that, no, I do not have any new written evidence for today. But I just wanted to make it clear what our objection was for turning in, or our objective was for turning in the objection.
Maybe I could run through the points if you want to address them. The first, and Mr. Taylor, correct me, misstating it, the first objection was that your Rule 5 motion, if we can call it that filed yesterday with the city clerk, was not timely filed. Do you have anything to say on that?
Well, it was in the building at 2 p.m., but myself, as well as one other person with me, we thought that we were supposed to be in this room at 2 p.m. This room was locked and dark, and so we then went to the city clerk window at that time. So technically we were in the building at 2 p.m., but we didn't know we were supposed to be at the city clerk's window at 2 p.m. So.
Okay. What about the fact that there was incomplete information on what you filed yesterday on your Rule 5 motion? That's the second issue that Mr. Taylor raised?
Yeah, my comment to that is I got the findings at 11 o'clock as far as this sheet here depicted that we were deficient in the signatures. So that gave us 180 minutes to look over 296 lines. That's less than a minute a line, so we were still doing that at the time. It was decided we had to be up here to turn something in, and so that's why it wasn't a complete piece of work. So.
Just for the record, isn't it fair to say that you had the same score sheets that you and your observers had the same score sheets that the county clerk used when they went through their examination? That's correct, right?
Well, we didn't know what the results were.
No,
until
but
11
you did
o'clock.
have the score sheet, the same score sheet, right? The same form.
Had the same form, although my observers took notes that weren't actually on their copy,
Okay, but I'm asking you, you had the form. At the
Yeah,
time,
that's
you
right.
sat down with the county clerk and watched them
Yeah, and then we
go
made
through their
notes.
analysis. And
They made
you were,
notes.
okay, it's my problem. We don't want to walk over each other as we're talking. So why don't you let me sort of
Sure.
finish? I just want to establish this. But you had the same form. You were sitting next to the clerk when they made you and the other observers were immediately adjacent to the clerk when they were making their decision at the time. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And when the clerk noted that they were going to disallow a signature, you were aware of the clerk's decision right at that time, were you not?
Yes, however, there were a number of what they referred to as DMV lookups to do, and we had no idea how many, if any of those might turn in our favor, so
Right,
we didn't
but-
know those until the next day.
Right, but the DMV lookups were after the decision was made that the objector was going to be sustained, but they were going to double check the most recent registrations that had come in to make sure that there wasn't some new information. Wasn't that correct?
Well, my understanding wasn't a final determination until.
But it was a tentative determination. There was no question. It only went on the DMV checklist if there was a tentative determination to sustain the objector, but they were going to double check to see if a change of address had come in. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And so you had an opportunity to mark on your own scorecard, because you had identical score sheets, what the decision of the clerks were, right? At the time they made the decision.
That's correct.
And you had the opportunity to challenge the clerks. You told the clerks that when you disagreed and told them that you wanted to challenge their decision. Isn't that correct?
Well, at the time, we had wrote some notes about, the signature evaluation, annotating those with the intention of actually visiting the address to find out at that address, was that someone's signature?
But
So,
the sheet that the clerk used, which you had a copy, had a space marked challenge. Correct?
Correct.
And so you had the opportunity to tell the clerk